I can see that we have present Councillor Allison. Do we have Councillor Brogan? Yep, we have Councillor Brogan present. We also have Councillor Matthew Buchanan, Councillor Carmichael, Councillor Chalmers, Councillor Cooper. Do we have Councillor Cowan? Not yet. I'll come back to her at the end. We also have present Councillor Devlin. I have apologies from Councillor Donnelly, and we have Councillor Dewar attending in her place. I have apologies from Councillor Fagan. We have Councillor Grant Ferguson present. Apologies from Councillor Ferguson Miller. We also have present Councillor Handybode, Councillor Horn, Councillor Hose. Councillor Loudon has indicated that she will join, but she will be late. We have present Councillor Hugh MacDonald. I have apologies from Councillor McClymont, and we have Councillor Gowland substituting for her. We have present Councillor Leslie MacDonald, Councillor Elaine McDougall. Do we have Councillor McGeever? Yep, I can see we have Councillor McGeever online. Do we have Councillor Nelson?
Should be online, apparently.
No, it's not shown online at the moment. I have apologies from Councillor Razak, and we have Councillor Susan Kerr substituting. We also have present Councillor Ross, Councillor Scott, and Councillor Williams, and there are also a number of officers present today. I'll hand back to yourself, Chair.
Thanks, Carol. Can I also welcome Kirsty Williams? She's not with us today, but she's joining this committee, and in particular, she's online. Can I welcome Murray Husband, that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, but we'll get that sorted out. Welcome to South Lanarkshire. Thank you. Do we have any declaration of interest? No? No declaration of interest. Can I refer you to the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 28th of June, pages 5 to 12 in your pack? Can we approve these as a correct record? Agreed. Agreed, thank you. Minutes of the recruitment committee held on the 8th of September, and that's pages 13 and 14. Can we agree these as a correct record? Agreed. Thank you. Monitoring items, revenue budget monitoring 23-24, pages 15 to 24. And can I ask you, Jackie, please, if you'll speak to this report?
Thanks, Chair. This is our revenue budget monitoring report. This has taken us to the 11th of August this year. The financial position, as always, for the resource is detailed in Appendix A, along with the service areas covered in Appendices B and H of your report. Section 5 of the covering report on page 15 shows the financial implications, and we're reporting that at the 11th of August, we're reporting a break-even position against the phase budget, and our forecast for the year is also a break-even position. This is our report for noting, but happy to take any questions. Thanks, Chair.
Are there any comments or questions to this report? I don't see any. Can we agree? Agreed. Thank you. Item 5, capital budget monitoring, pages 25 to 28. And back to you, Jackie.
Thanks, Chair. So this is now our capital budget monitoring report for the same period as the last report. This has taken us to the 11th of August this year. Again, Section 5 summarises the financial implications. We have a capital programme of just over £5.3 million for the year, and as at the 11th of August, we had spent £884,000, which is a minor underspend on where we expect to be. As always, the appendix on page 27 shows a summary of the programme. Our capital programme is on IT services. Again, asking that positions noted. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Jackie. Any comments or questions? No comments or questions. Can we agree the report? Agreed. Workforce monitoring, finance and corporate resources, May to July 23, and that's pages 29 to 236. Michelle, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is a standard workforce monitoring report which is prepared by Personnel Services, and the purpose of the report is to provide committee with an update on employment information for the period May to July 2023. I'll go through a few paragraphs and a few highlights of the report. At paragraph 4.1, maximising attendance, the resource absence figures for July was 3.5%, which represented a decrease of 0.7 from June and is 0.3 lower than the council-wide figure. Based on the absence figures at July 2023 and annual trends, the projected annual absence for the resource is 3.9%. At paragraph 4.2, occupational health, there were 59 employees attending appointments or being referred for support in this period. That was a slight decrease of 7 when compared to the same period last year. At paragraph 4.3, there were 2 incidents recorded within the resource during this period. At para 4.4, discipline, grievance and dignity at work, there was 1 disciplinary hearing, no appeals, no grievance hearings and no dignity at work hearings held during this period. At paragraph 4.5, analysis of leavers, there were 7 leavers eligible for an exit interview and 3 exit interviews were conducted. And at para 4.7, there is information on the breakdown of vacant posts which are being replaced or held for savings. 19 employees left employment and managers had indicated that 17 posts were being replaced. There are no employee financial or other implications in this report, and I'll provide a broader update around equal opportunities when I present my council-wide report for information. Referring back to section 2 within the report, committee is asked to approve the recommendation to note the employment information for May to July 2023.
Thanks, Michelle. Do we have any comments or questions? I don't see any. No. Can we agree this report?
Agreed.
Council-wide workforce monitoring, May to July 23, pages 37 to 58. And back to you, Michelle, please.
Thank you, Chair. Again, similar to the previous report, it's a standard workforce monitoring report, and again I'll take you through some highlights within the report. At paragraph 4.1, maximising attendance, council-wide absence figure for July 23 was 3.8%, which represented a decrease of 0.9% from June and is 0.8% lower than the council-wide figure compared to July 2022. You'll see a further breakdown for AP, T&C and teachers also detailed in this section. At paragraph 5, occupational health, in summary there were 273 attending medical appointments, which was a decrease of 107 compared to the same period last year. There were 402 attending physio appointments, again a decrease of 17. 50% of employees remained at work during the treatment they were receiving. 382 employees were referred to employee support, an increase of 23, and 84% cited personal reasons for attending employee support, and 148 employees were referred to PAM Assist. That was an increase of 24. 59 of these reasons were for personal reasons, 19 for work-related and 22 for other reasons. At paragraph 6, there were 317 incidents recorded within the resource in this period, and this figure has increased by 34 from the same period last year. At paragraph 7, discipline, grievance and dignity at work, there were 36 disciplinary hearings, 1 appeal, 1 grievance raised and no dignity at work, and 3 referrals were made for mediation during this period. At paragraph 8, analysis of leavers, 144 leavers were eligible for an exit interview during this period and 40 exit interviews were conducted. Paragraph 8.4, there is information on the breakdown of vacant posts which are being replaced or held for savings. 323 employees left employment and 302 posts were replaced. At paragraph 9, there is information on recruitment monitoring that we collate. So around the number of applicants, there were 5,866 applicants during the period and 5,583 equal opportunity monitoring forms were received. There were 194 applicants who declared themselves as disabled, 113 were shortlisted and 11 were appointed. In terms of black and ethnic minority background, there were 659 applicants, 277 were shortlisted and 23 were appointed. In terms of veterans, there were 55 veterans, 20 were shortlisted and 2 were appointed. At paragraphs 11 and 12, there are no employee financial or other implications. By way of update, which I'd referenced in the previous paper and which relates to this paper, as advised at committee in June, there had been a number of questions and suggestions which arose at exec committee in that period. I had advised committee that as part of my first Equal Ops Forum meeting, I would begin to gather a summary of activities and actions that have been carried out to date regarding recruitment, learning and development, etc. around veterans and ethnic minority groups and other areas, incorporating the activity from our mainstreaming equalities report and looking at next steps. I just wanted to confirm to committee that those discussions have commenced with the chair of the group, Councillor Razak, and our equalities team, and we're also reviewing the terms of reference of the group. The aim will be to refresh the current action plan and bring that back to committee. In addition, several meetings have been held with SLC members of the Lanarkshire firm base. The Head of Legal Services, Geraldine, who's with us today, and Councillor Horsham, who's the veteran champion and co-chair of the group. The Lanarkshire firm base was created in partnership with North and South Lanarkshire councils following a request by the Royal Regiment of Scotland for an armed forces covenant to be established. The co-chair has been working with personnel to develop an action plan and report to corporate management team committee on progress, and again we will bring this back to committee once this is developed. So I just wanted to give you an update on progress in those areas. And referring committee back to section 2 within the report, committee is asked to approve the recommendation to note employment information for May to July 2023. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Councillor Allison.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a little bit more clarity. It's recently announced that in the economy in general, the number of absence days taken has risen from 6 to 8. We represent it here as a percentage. How does that compare?
Certainly I don't have that information in front of me. We can have a look at that. I'm conscious that the report portrays information as percentage figures, and some of that information in the report refers to employees or number of ASMs, for example. So we are having a look at that just in terms of consistency, and I think as well getting the overall picture around the number of employees is vitally important in terms of some and understanding some of these statistics. So we're having a look at that just now, but I can certainly get some background for you and share that with your question that you've asked today.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. There are no more comments or questions. Can we agree that report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Treasury Management Activity, First Quarter Review, pages 59 to 66. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Chair. This is the first of two papers on our Treasury Management function. The first one is our regular quarter review. This is the first for the year. Going through the paper, you'll recognise the elements that we include with it. Firstly, at section 4, we include information on the base rate. This report was written when we were expecting an increase at the September adjustment. We were expected to go up to 5.5%. As you probably will have seen in the press, the base rate has remained at 5.25%. Debt management and borrowing is covered at section 5. As always, table 1, which is over on page 60, shows the position for borrowing for the year. No borrowing's been taken so far this current year. Instead, we're using cash balances to fund capital spend, and borrowing will be required to replace these going forward. Investment activities covered at section 6, so this relates to where we deposit our funds. As you know, prior to depositing any funds, we make sure that the institution is considered safe. And that methodology includes using credit ratings and ratings watches, so we'll come back to that in a second. But table 3 on page 61 summarises where we've deposited our money this year so far. And in a similar approach to what we've reported previously, we're depositing the majority of our money in the UK Government's deposit facility and also in other local authorities, with the balance being made in the Bank of Scotland and Royal Bank of Scotland on deposit accounts. Section 7 continues the theme of managing risk around our deposits, and we report that our annual investment strategy for the year that was approved in February details how risks are managed and what permitted investments are required by the Council. Tables 4 to 6 on page 62 shows a breakdown of all the deposits that we have made with details of the credit ratings of the banks and institutions that we've used up to the 30th of June. And we're reporting, as usual, that the vast majority of our deposits are made with counterparties of very high credit quality. Section 8 of the report covers our next quarter investment plans, and the plan is to continue with the framework that we've seen in the last quarter. And our Treasury management indicators are covered at Section 9. We're required to report on a couple of indicators, and I can report that they are within the limits that we've set. In terms of recommendations, we're asking that the paper is noted. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Jackie. Do we have any comments, questions? I don't have any here. No, can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Prudential indicators, Treasury management activity and annual investment report, pages 67 to 88. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you. So this paper provides an update on 3 particular areas: our Treasury management activity, our Prudential Code indicators, and also our annual investment report for last year. Now, due to regulations, each of these areas requires a consideration at different places in our committee structure, and I'll explain them when we come on to the recommendations. But the background explains the 3 areas that we have to report on. Firstly, our Treasury management activities. Secondly, our linked to our borrowing, our CIPFA Prudential Code requires us to report and manage a series of financial indicators that demonstrate affordability and sustainability of our borrowing. So this paper aims to provide an update on that for last year. And thirdly, the Local Government Investment Scotland regulations requires all councils to prepare an annual investment strategy before the start of the year and a report at the end of the financial year. And both of those documents are required to be approved at full council. We have 3 appendices to this report dealing with each of those 3 things, but we've summarised the position within the report. Firstly, at Section 4, the Treasury management activity for last year. Appendix 1 covers that in detail. You can see from the summary at Section 4 that that particular area covers our borrowing and also our deposits for the year. Those 2 areas are very similar to the report that I've just presented for the first quarter of this year. Section 5 summarises the report that we have to produce in relation to our Prudential Code indicators, and Appendix 2 provides the detail for you there. That particular area focuses on capital expenditure, as well as also covering our borrowing position in relation to that capital expenditure. We do have an indicator that covers borrowing and sets limits for the level of borrowing that the Council can have, and I can report that we've remained within those limits for the year. And then lastly, at Section 6, we summarise the position in relation to our annual investment report for last financial year. And again, the details are included in the appendices at Appendix 3. What we cover there is our deposits, and we can report that all deposits that were made by the Council were in line with our approved lending limits and the credit rating criteria that we set at the start of the year. And again, in a similar way to I reported in the last paper, over 92% of our deposits were made with counterparties of very high credit quality, and the remaining 7% was deposited in instant access call accounts with the Bank of Scotland and the Royal Bank of Scotland, and in fixed term deposits with the Clydesdale Bank. So if I can take you back to the recommendations at Section 2, we're asking that the Treasury Management Report and the Prudential Indicator Report be noted, and that they are both referred to the Executive Committee for noting, and that in relation to the Annual Investment Report, we're asking that that's endorsed and that that's referred to the Executive Committee prior to submission to the Council for formal approval, and that's in line with the Investment Scotland regulations. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Jackie. Do we have any comments, questions? I've got nothing here. Can we agree this report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Revenue and collection and approval for write-offs, page 89 to 94. Craig, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The report advises Committee of the revenue collection performance to the end of August, and also the current position in relation to the business rates incentivisation scheme, and then finally seeks approval for write-offs. Section 4 covers the current collection performance with information provided in detail in Appendix 1. In terms of council tax, that's currently ahead of target, as is non-domestic rates, and so too is the collection performance in relation to sundry debt. Section 5 details the arrears collection performance. Council tax is currently ahead of target, as is the position in respect to non-domestic rates, and for sundry debt that's currently equal to target. Section 6 covers the business rates incentivisation scheme, and just to note that further guidance and information is awaited from Scottish Government with regards to any reinstatement in 2023-24. Section 7 of the report covers the proposals for write-offs. At 7.2 it covers those in relation to council tax, covering to 1.9 million, and that includes the bulk prescribed write-off for financial year 96-97, and throughout section 7 the range of other write-offs proposed for committee's consideration and agreement today. If you can refer committee back to the recommendations in section 2 and ask the performance with respect to the collection of revenue is noted, the current position in respect to the incentivisation scheme is also noted, and the rest as listed at bullet point 3 are approved. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thanks, Craig. Elaine McDougall, please.
Thanks, Craig. Just to note that I had, prior to the meeting, I had asked Paul for some clarification around the write-offs, in particular council tax, and have received a response which I'm happy with. And you've explained it as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? No. Can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Given that items 11 to 14 are for noting, it's my intention to take them all as one, and can we agree these, please?
Agreed.
Thank you. Oh, so let's should back in.
I am. Thanks, Chair. Again, I know you're taking them for noting as a group. It was just again a couple of observations for item 11 on procurement on page 129, and this again was prior to the meeting today. I had asked for some clarification around some items that had missed monetary values but had dates in them. So I've had a response to that request this morning, which I'm happy with. And on item 13, for the progress report on page 165, I had asked for an update on the replanning of the Oracle Fusion report, which is a kind of big IT project that we're doing in the council, and the replanning of that, and I've received some feedback on that from Jackie, which again I'm happy with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Ellison.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see there's some money in there for bridges, Paul.
Oh, no.
No,
No, I must have missed that one, sorry. There are no more bridges for Clydesdale.
I did notice one of them was £50,000 just for bridge maintenance. Is that for the whole estate, or is that a specific project? And secondly, there was considerable amount of flooding in some villages, and we haven't been able to do the work required to protect them for the forthcoming winter. Yet there doesn't seem to be a great deal of funding available in there for this work to be done.
Chair, if I can come in. So, if it's appropriate, I'll maybe bring Craig in, because I'm taking it this is with reference to Craig's report on procurements, essentially. It's the annual procurement report. So, what is in there, and I think what we're maybe focusing on is Appendix 3, which is planned future regulated procurements. So that's beginning on page 129.
No, sorry, I've got it. Appendix 1, starting on page up to 112.
Right, okay, listen, that's smashing, that helps me. So, what this is covering then, right, is procurement activity. It's procurement activity that's gone on across the period of the last financial year. So what this is is contracts going out. It's not necessarily the money that's available in the budget. Right, so to pick up on your question, Councillor Allison, I'd probably need to go back to roads, which I'm happy to do on your behalf, just to pick through the issue that you're describing about flooding and about the impact and about spending, what can be done. But this is contracts out as opposed to money spent. So I don't know if Craig can maybe provide a wee bit more detail around the specifics on what you were asking on, particularly that amount of £50,000. Thanks, Councillor Allison.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I mean, certainly I can get more information from the road service, Councillor Allison. I mean, certainly in relation to that line of 50,000, there'll be a range of projects that support that overall estimate, so that detail will rest with the road service, and I can come back to you on that.
Okay, thanks. And, right, okay.
Sorry, I have no items of... Oh, sorry, Councillor Hose. You're just testing me today, Martin.
I don't know if it's for Paul or across the table, page 112, the £450,000 for a contract for repair, inspection and maintenance of commercial catering equipment. Now, is that purely for South Arundel Council, or does that also include SLLC's catering equipment and maintenance?
Craig, please.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, that'll cover the requirements on behalf of the council. And obviously you can see that it spans more than one financial year.
So nothing to do with SLC?
No.
Okay, so anything that's to do with leisure centres and lifestyle centres is not included there?
They do put in place their own procurement arrangements. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have no items of urgent business. Can I thank all members for their attendance and declare the meeting closed? Thank you.